Hello and very good afternoon to all of you. I hope you're all doing good. I welcome you all to the last track for the day, and we are ending it with a bomb by discussing on travel and tourism. And as a moderator for this session, we are honored to have with us Mr. Joseph K. Jose, who's CEO and co-founder at Bookcap. He's fondly known as Joe, seasoned traveler professional, practical experience, and a solid understanding of a diverse range of travel industry with core forte in sales, marketing, product development, training, and distribution. He has spent over 24 years of high quality trade experience in tourism and hospitality. Joe is a trained chef and holds masters in tourism and management and an executive program in business management from IIM Kolkata. His work stints include the Sheraton Hotel Group, Teaching Hotel Management, Cox and Kings, Tourism Malaysia, Via.com, Travel Tours Group, and FCM Travel Solution. We are pleased to have you in this session, sir. Joining him to the discussion, we also have our able panelist, who is Miss Ranjini Menon, who is a media personality, a writer, travel blogger, and tourism entrepreneur at Turmeric Wayanad. Thank you for joining us, ma'am. We also have Mr. Sharat Anil Nambiar, who's a co-founder of B1 Tribe and also is the Chief Experience Officer at Outstrip. Welcome, Sharat. We also have Ms. Neha Jose Paul, who's an assistant professor at Department of Travel and Tourism at Mount Carmel College in Bengaluru. And finally, we have Ms. Rashi Mahendru, who's a student at Mount Carmel College in Bengaluru. We can't wait for the insights you have to provide to all of us. Over to you, Mr. Joseph, sir.
Thank you, Gayatri, for the kind words of introduction, and a very warm good afternoon to all my fellow panelists. Honestly, the last 5.5 months has been, or 4.5 months has been an incredible journey for all of us. Something which none of us have seen in our lifetimes. Probably our parents have not seen. And I think even our grandparents would not have seen anything like this in their lifetime. So given the situation that is right now, there is no rule book to follow. Yeah, I'm sure my colleagues who teach academics will say, okay, there is a book, then we need to follow the book, and then you teach. But unfortunately, with the current world situation that we are in, there is no a rule book that can be followed because nobody's ever written a book like this. Having said that, travel and tourism industry is a very, very exciting industry. Unfortunately, I'm speaking to you in a situation like this, but let me also give you the silver lining in this industry. I'm not sure how many of you are aware that in the world, travel and tourism, there are about 320 million jobs, which means 1 in 10 jobs worldwide is directly or indirectly connected to travel. And when I say directly or indirectly, it means that, for example, my friend here, Sharat, was coming from yesterday from Gokarna. So he was there in Gokarna. The resort had a work because of him. The restaurants, he went and had food. He took a taxi. He went to a sightseeing place. So there are multiple people who are involved in this local economy for a single tourist called Sharat. Yeah. So like that, imagine the billions of people who travel across the globe. And when I say travel and tourism industry, it is an all-encompassing industry, which I'll just give you a few names. I'm sure most of you are aware, but all this comes in the travel and tourism industry. The first and the foremost is leisure travel. When I say leisure travel, it could include religious tourism, wildlife tourism, visiting friends and relatives, or just going to a particular destination. Yeah, this is leisure travel. Then you have something called as a business travel. A corporate or a company, they travel on business to close sales, to do operations, to execute projects. So that is business travel. Amongst these, there are also other modes of transportation which comes in. Flight obviously is one, then self-drive, cars, taxis. Then you have cruise ships, which is another fantastic way to see the world. Then you have trains, fast trains like the bullet trains or the scenic trains in Switzerland. Yeah. So these are modes of transportation. And I'm sure most of you must have read recently, the they have they have touched the realms of space frontier. Recently, a private company in the US has successfully sent astronauts to space and come back. So this opens up this possibility of space tourism as we go forward. Maybe not in our lifetime, but most of you who are watching this will probably get to understand about space tourism during your lifetime. Yeah. Apart from this, there are some specific things like MICE. MICE stands for Meetings, Incentives, Conferences, and Exhibition. So this is a subset of the travel, where people, companies send people on incentives. And then, of course, you have allied services like visas, passport, foreign exchange. This is one aspect. Another aspect of travel and tourism is all this. What I'm speaking was primarily outbound travel. That means Indians going abroad. Another segment is inbound travel, which means foreigners coming into India to experience what travel is. Yeah. So just to give you some statistics, India last year attracted about 10.5 million visitors. Of course, about 5 million were NRIs traveling back to be with their family and friends. But the biggest or the largest chunk is about 1.8 billion Indians travel within the country. Yeah, this is for, could be holiday, religious, for visiting friends and relatives, and so on and so forth. Now, to tell you where we stand currently during the COVID season, approximately about 120 million jobs, that is about 1/3 of the jobs have already been lost. The passenger traffic has come down dramatically for airlines by about 85%. And Jan to May, that's the first 5 months of this year, as per the United Nations World Travel and Tourism Organization, the losses are at about 320 billion US dollars. 320 billion US dollars. And they foresee that the accumulated losses due to COVID will be about 2.1 trillion US dollars. Yeah, honestly, don't ask me how much does a trillion, how many zeros does a trillion have? I don't know how many it is, but I know it's a huge amount. Yeah. So coming back to that, what I do want to tell you is that travel and tourism has been an extremely, I would call an industry which is resilient to all these kind of uh, disasters. In the past, we have had issues where, we've had 9/11, we've had 2008, the financial meltdown, we've had volcanic ash eruption, so on and so forth. And this industry has really recovered fast. Yeah. As the saying goes currently in the travel trade is the hardest hit and probably will be the last one to recover in this current scenario. Yeah. So having said that, what I wanted to tell you is that at this point of time, while there are a few new technologies and new concepts evolving in travel, which we will discuss during the course of this 45 minutes to 1 hour of interaction that we have, what I want to tell all of you who are listening in this program right now is that, yes, this industry is being hit, as in the case of most other industries in the world, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. Currently it's faint, but there is light. And as we progress this path, I'm sure the light will become brighter and brighter. Yeah. So these are my opening remarks. What I'm going to do now is to quickly pass around my fellow panelists, giving them a few minutes to give their thoughts and ideas. And then we try to take your question and answers. So may I request Ranjini Menon to take it forward from here.
Thank you, Jose. See, I was listening to you and I was also going through all this data these 2 days before this program. And interestingly, certain things which I have found is relating. I'm reminded of a book called Alvin Toffler's Future Shock. Someone might have read that very long back, almost 50 years back it has come. So in that it is said that the situation is almost the same situation as depicted in that book also. Too much of change happening in too short a period. and that too for a society and people as a whole. So that is really, it has really happened in this time. So this is a situation, it's very grim. We were all discussing before this event also. So, as a tourism entrepreneur and a travel blogger, what I have found is this: maybe post COVID time or during COVID time, we cannot stop traveling. People will definitely travel. Although it is grim situation, maybe within few months time, definitely people will start traveling. But I have found five key factors which will be involved in traveling. And I let me put it out. These key factors are safety first. And definitely, if you think of safety, the perception and the reality definitely matters. There will be perception for the travelers, travel companies, countries about this present situation and also of the future. But definitely, reality and perception matters regarding safety. And health is the second criterion, key factor. Definitely, all countries and all states everywhere, the mandatory checkups and all things are going on. So that will definitely matter. When you travel to a distant place, you will definitely think of your health and your family's health or your partner's health over traveling with you. So that is also very important. And the third thing is hygiene aspect. No compromise for hygiene. So those countries like South Asian countries, in some places, for an avid traveler like you or those who are watching this program, definitely they may find certain interesting facts in those places, but at the same time hygiene was a concern. But now it will be a very important concern or important factor to decide to which place we should travel. And definitely the brands will also decide. If you are connecting to a good brand, if you are going to a good branded hotel, the risk is very less. So brand is also a factor. And finally, the value for money. And value for money means I need not explain that, we all know. So these key factors will decide hereafter during this COVID time and even post COVID time for a traveler. This is what initially I am thinking of, and we will definitely discuss this in detail. That's it. Yes.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ranjini. And I think all the 5 points which you mentioned are absolutely valid. I think safety and hygiene going forward is a given. I mean, you can't even think a life not without it. Yeah,
Yes.
I understand. Cool. So we'll come back to you, Ranjini. Moving to Sharath Anil, he calls himself a digital nomad. So let's hear from the nomad. Over to you,
Great.
Sharath.
Hi. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. And thank you for calling me the digital nomad. It's something that I look forward to hearing. Uh, coming to what we were discussing. So during this COVID time, and based on, how we've been suffering in the industry as such, and the fact that people are also being stuck at home, and that is mainly the light that you're talking about, the end of the tunnel, because I believe that people are waiting to get out once this thing comes to ease, because they've been stuck, they've been going through so many things in their head, so many thoughts, so many experiences. And now suddenly we start valuing life as it's very short. And travel becomes such an important aspect now. And going forward, I believe that brands that already exist in this industry, I think this is the best time to reconnect with their community. That is what I think is the best thing for everyone to do. Because there have been, like, when I've been working in different hotels, I've seen there are a lot of customers who come again and again. Like when you retain customers and they repeat continuously, they become part of your brand and your community. And I think that evolution of that brand and community will change now. The way people are going to be more, give focus on more guest experience while maintaining safety and health and hygiene standards. Because in the future, obviously, people are going to bother about where they're going to stay now. They won't just pick up a hotel because it's a budget hotel. Now, if it's a budget hotel chain, or even if it's a backpacker hostel chain. Now, in these cases, like, there are shared economies. So wherein, you're sharing your room also with someone else in a hostel. These kind of things in a community living space might not exist in the future, is what I'm thinking. Because obviously you don't want to share a room with 6 people now, as the dormitory system was, because you want to be in a more safer space when you travel. You have a lot of more people to like, who care about you and who want to know whether you're going to a safe space. So which is why I believe that this is the time for brands to really like put up that there and say that, hey, these are the standards that we are following. These are the kind of, new changes that we've brought into our systems. Like how the luggage, the trolley bags that we have, that has never changed forever in the tourism industry. I think it's finally time, like the beds and the way we actually perceive a room to be could finally change. This is my thought on the industry.
Cool. Thank you so much, Sarath. And what you mentioned about people getting bogged down at home and they want to start exploring is so very true. I'm not sure if you have heard of this terminology. There's something called as revenge tourism, which is coming up across the globe.
Okay.
What it is that, like you rightly said, you're contained in four walls at home, and you're waiting to just get out. You want that revenge. So there is a new term which is being coined. It's called as revenge tourism. Great. We'll come back to you, Sharath. Let's move to Neha. She's from the academics division, and academics has gone through a sea of change in the last 4.5 months. I mean, I can see it with my own kids at home. The number of time they're spending on the digital to attend classes has gone up phenomenally. But let's hear from you, Neha, from the academics point of view.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph. There is, like you said, there is a tremendous amount of change in every aspect of the industry. And like you must actually be facing a lot of difficulty with your children, because now you have to monitor and see what they are doing online, because there is so many opportunities for things to go right or wrong. So there are challenges, and there are also a very positive side also. So there are two ways that I'm going to, two aspects that I want to talk about. First is the positive aspect that I'd like to touch on. There is a lot of new policies that are coming up, and our education policy for 2020 has actually seen a lot of change. We're introducing multidisciplinary education, where there is no straight jacket. You don't have to study only science. You don't have to study only commerce or only arts. People can put their hand into whatever they're interested in. So the policy shows a lot of promise. Also, in terms of digital education, e-learning, there are so many platforms that are open nowadays for students to reach out to and get information from. So it's become a global learning scenario, which is really exciting for me being an academician, because I can reach out to students at any point of time, anywhere in the world. So that is a real great opportunity. Also with the concept of blended learning, where I can use online and offline platforms and connect with students using different facilities, whether it is MS Teams, whether it is Coursera, whether it is edX, so many different platforms to connect. It's making teaching a more exciting profession. At the same time, there are hindsights also. Some of the hindsights are many of my students who are, say, for example, in areas that do not have internet accessibility. Students who are in the eastern sides of India, or in areas that have low connectivity. With the floods and the rains, Wi-Fi and connection is becoming a problem. So that is one of the issues that I'm facing with my students. Also, personal connection is something that I truly miss as a teacher, because I would really connect with my students on a personal basis. Now I'm talking to a screen. So I miss that connection with students. So that's something that is a hindsight. But there are so many different virtual platforms where we can bridge this gap. So I'm looking to a prospective future. I do see various areas. I see 3 areas in change for how academics can be in the future. The first one is a platform-based teaching. There are many universities that have come up with interesting platforms where you have artificial intelligence giving students, with the Gen Z students who are interested in Netflix kind of watching classes. There are platforms that are available for students to watch their classes, see their lecture series like that. That's the first one. The second one is experiential curation. How I see this happening is there are a lot of extracurriculars. That is something that a student needs to be part and parcel of, whether it is festing, whether it is in communication with other student bodies. I do see a virtual platform where students can connect with other students. It is important to have that community-based learning, which is in a platform such as a virtual platform. You don't really get to meet your friends in person. So that's something I do see happening in the future. Also, a lot of collaboration with the workforce, having integration with the workforce. So having close connection with the industry representatives like Joseph Sir, Rajani ma'am, and Sharat. It would be great to have a connection with the industry also. So we can go hand in hand, because what we are teaching is to make sure that the students come down to you as an employer and get employability. So these are things that we are concentrating on. And this is what I see in the future of academics. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Neha. I wanted to check with you. Are you
Yeah.
facing helicopter parenting during your online classes?
Oh, yes. There are situations where parents are truly worried. But I should say that that, that I think is mostly important to the, I think from grade 1 to 10, a lot of parents are truly concerned about what they are seeing on the screen. But I think when I teach the masters and the UG level students, so over there, not so much. But there are parents who are truly concerned.
Yeah.
I have
So
to
I
tell you.
wanted to, for those who don't know what helicopter parenting is, that, you know, when a class is going on, they just jump in and figure out how the teacher is pronouncing, how the teacher is explaining the concepts, and then try to jump in and say, that's wrong, this is right. So that's what I want to check with you.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Neha. We move to Rashi. Rashi is in the absolute evolving stage of a student finishing and a working professional starting. So she's in that juncture at this point of time. Let's hear your opinion at this point of time, Rashi.
Thank you, sir. So, in my opinion, the tourism industry has, like, according to me, since I've been a part of this, it has been the most affected by this pandemic situation than any other industry. And restoring to the normalcy is going to take a lot of time, since international travel industry is also badly affected. So, like, what we are seeing are the reforms that the government and, like, the authorities are taking, like, by having new policies on taxes, security, supporting for local businesses, etc. However, role of people and researchers can also not be underestimated, since, how we say, if there's demand, only then when there's supply. So, researchers are conducting and asking tourists for their opinions, because, tourist opinions have definitely changed from before COVID-19 pandemic to now. People are more inclined towards online facilities now. Virtual realities have come into picture a lot. And like how you mentioned, I'm right at the middle of the juncture. I've just completed my education and I'm stepping into this work world. Knowing the current scenario, like, on behalf of all the students, we all are worried knowing about how to go about their career in tourism hospitality, since there was a point, like, now still people have started traveling little by little, but there was a time when this had hit rock bottom. It had taken a major toll on our industry. But, like how we say, the darkest hour of the night is just before the break of dawn, we know that it is an everlasting industry. And so, like how you mentioned, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So there's still scope that things will return back to normalcy, and this is just a phase that will pass soon. So just waiting for that to happen.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rashi. And the fact that you are going to join work during COVID time itself is a positive sign. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Great. So what we'll do now is, I've got 5 questions which I thought is relevant for everybody at this point of time. So I think if we answer these 5 questions, majority of the viewers' thought processes will be cleared. So I will read the question. I've got some thoughts. We'll go around if any of you want to add on this. And so by then we'll spend another 15-20 minutes, and then we'll be good to open up for questions if required. Yeah. So the first question is, while foreseeing the future of our sector, what do we need to get better at? Yeah. While foreseeing the future of the tourism sector, what do we need to get better at? Well, the future and the long road to recovery will start at the end point of the COVID-19 vaccine. In fact, the silver lining is yesterday evening, Russia has announced their first vaccine. Obviously, it is subject to multiple WHO and so on and so forth. But at least there is some
Ray of hope.
endpoint. Because unless you have an endpoint, you can't begin of thinking to start to recover. Otherwise, it is you need to have, when you, like for example, my favorite example, when you're drowning, first you need to stop sinking, and then you need to try to come up to the surface. Yeah. So if you don't have the end point of the COVID vaccine, then everybody's still going down. So we need to have that. So this is the foreseeing feature. Once the vaccine is launched, then from then on we start to rebuild our careers and the tourism sector. The path of recovery will be much faster for online companies, is what I think. Initially, to start with, I'm saying from a travel agency perspective, than compared to the traditional brick and mortar agencies. For the simple reason that during the last 4.5 months, people have realized that everything can be bought online. So, of course, online travel companies are in India for the last 20 years. They've been in the Indian space since the early 2000s, but there will be more impetus for the online travel companies. I personally see there will be a massive spike in road trips, and it will gravitate towards offbeat and natures and destinations inclined to nature. And one of the things that we definitely need to get better at is the disposal of the biomedical waste. It is extremely sad, without going to a tourist spot, to go to a normal grocery store. You see on the way, you can see the mask being thrown on the road. And if you find a dustbin, you can actually find a PPE kit being discarded. This is, of course, we also have the civic authorities also trying to learn how to cope up with this. But from a tourism point of view, I think we need to get our act right in terms of how to dispose the biomedical waste that we need to take care of. Personally, I feel that there will be a massive drop in religious tourism because the three largest religions in the world with 1 billion plus followers, Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism, all of them, the majority of the places have been shut or been having a phased manner of devotees, be it Vatican or Mecca or in this case Tirupati or Sabrimala or any of the famous temples in India. So religious tourism will take it will take a longer time to recover because of the mass gatherings. Mature travelers, I call mature travelers as people who are about 65 years or senior citizens. I think their travel will have to get stopped. A lot of airlines have already said that if you're above 65, you can't travel anymore. I know it was a great area of opportunity, especially for cruise liners, especially for yoga retreats and so on and so forth. Senior citizens was because they have done all their what, as you call, responsibilities. Got the children educated, got them married. Now they want to travel and see the world. But at the current situation, I think the retirees or the senior citizens will have to take a back seat. School trips, what Sharath has done in the past, will go dry because the parents will be extremely paranoid on sending their trips on their school trips initially. So these are the things that I see in the foreseeable future. If anybody would like to add points, please go ahead.
Yeah, Jose, I was also thinking in these terms, what you have said, almost all the points you have covered, but still some more things I wanted to add with this is tourism may look an inward, becomes more inward, like there will be less outbound traveling. Instead, we may be traveling within our country. So whether it is in India or if it is an Indian, we will be traveling inside India. And another thing which I have noticed is as a traveler or a person who loves traveling, soon after this COVID time, I would love to travel to some short distance places. Instead of going to the northeast, or instead of going to sitting in Kerala, instead of going to Kashmir, I would definitely travel to the nearest destination. Like, for example, I'm sitting here in Cochin and I may travel to Munnar, or a person from Bangalore may come to Wayanad, or like that. Short distance travel will be definitely more post COVID times. And another aspect which I found is the honeymooners. Definitely marriages are taking place even in this COVID times. So honeymooning will be there. So honeymoon travel and holiday traffic will be within India. They may not go to Maldives or some exotic places in European Union. European Union is, I think, only in September they will be opening some of the countries. So that will not be there. And as a person who is living amongst nature, I was in Wayanad. Nature and wildlife tourism will be definitely thriving, and it will be popular because it's very safe also. Instead of traveling to a theme park, going to a theme park, or to visiting a city, crowded city, visiting a monument, people may prefer to places where there is lush greenery, pristinity in nature. So those kind of places. And also, maybe that's my positive thought, places like our property, a standalone property amidst a big estate. So such places will be more safer. People may think in that terms. So definitely for medium and small stakeholders, let this time, that they should make this as an opportunity to promote themselves. Of course, Sharad was talking about brand. Definitely that will be there. But these kind of properties and places will get more attention, and there will be, as you rightly said, more traffic will be on road than on air. Definitely, because traveling air traffic, airlines, they may definitely they will increase the cost, and that will be a definitely a problem for many people, especially for middle class. And luxury hotels, I think they will slash the tariffs. Definitely they will slash the tariffs. So people, maybe ordinary people, backpackers, such people will be able to go and stay in a high-end hotel or a good resort with less money. So that is which means the bargaining power of travelers, customers, people may increase during this time. So these are some of the points which is coming into my mind right now. You all can add.
Sure.
I was just thinking, Rajni ma'am, on similar lines. What I did do, in fact, day before yesterday, me and my sister, we travel once in 2 years on an international trip, just two women backpacking. So we were really curious to know what were the places that are open internationally. And we found out that, interestingly, the prices of air tickets and airline have actually come down. As much as I see domestic travel happening, and I do, and I do that it is going to increase, I also do have a ray of hope in terms of even international travel picking up. But I do have queries in terms of the safety and security that is offered. For example, right now in the European market, certain countries have opened their borders, like Greece and Spain. So if these countries have opened, they've actually started marketing themselves, saying that we are providing these safe opportunities, which will encourage international travel also. Probably in the first quarter of 2021, we might see a lot of international travel also picking up. Of course, visa processing and things like that might be, countries have to figure out how they're going to make the process easier so that they can tap on the tourism income that is coming in from these countries. So this is something that we can consider. And Joseph, sir, you were talking about education, and in terms of students going on travel, we do have virtual tourism, which is something that we can tap on. It is a market that is heavily, it's starting on, and there is so much of technology available. So virtual tourism is something that we can introduce. There are so many countries that have started off with this, so we can tap on that as a market. Currently, a lot of my students who are in their fourth semester, they could not do their internship. What we did do was we had internship virtually. So we had a month-long internship where we got students before. So what I found positive was a lot of students would have internship only in one segment. Either they get to intern in a travel agency or a hotel, only in one area. Now with a month-long internship, they get representatives from all spheres. We had extremely professional members from the industry in terms of travel and tourism, hotels, event management, airline. We had so many representatives coming and giving their perspectives. So there is a possibility of growing in the future in a virtual atmosphere. So there is a lot of scope.
Neha, I just want to supplement what you said.
Yes,
When we're thinking about this virtual platforms and virtual tourism, recently I also joined a virtual tourism platform called Moksha.
oh, totally.
For
That's
example,
amazing.
it's very interesting, particularly with pilgrim tourism, especially for senior citizens, mature
Yes.
tourists, rightly said by Jose. See, mature tourists, definitely for them, they need some entertainment, some relaxation. So this virtual media platforms providing virtual tourism will be a boon for mature tourists. So this Moksha, this group, which is organized by one of my friend called Mojita, she is also a television personality. So she organized this, and a lot of people have joined it. And now we could visit Vaishno Devi Temple or Kashi Vishwanath or places like this. So it's interesting. So that has come up within no time. It has come up. So that's a good thing.
Necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anything to add, Sharath or Rashi, before we go to the next question?
I think mostly they have reiterated all when the three of you have discussed most of the things that we've that we can take as steps forward, starting from domestic or personal travel, which is to domestic destinations close to your city, and also the rise of short distance travel. Because I've also been seeing that over the last 2 to 3 weeks in Bangalore, I've been keeping a track of how the bookings on Airbnb are. And I see that on the weekends, they're actually booked out. So it's not like people are not traveling. They are traveling, a bunch of people who've been stuck in different parts of the city want to, have a good time together. So they are booking a place. And so I think things will be moving. But I do believe slow, responsible, and sustainable tourism is the future. And which is why homestays and, personally run and standalone properties, the ones that will actually take this entire industry for the next 1 or 2 years till brands actually evolve to understand how to make this work for them, because obviously they're going to be working on how to make this work for them, and that's what is going to be happening.
Rashi, anything to add?
Sir, I'd just like to add a couple of lines. I would like to supplement Janjini ma'am's point when she said how the environment and the wildlife is booming. Like how we're talking about COVID-19 all having the negative effects. If we also see on the other side of the coin, the events of 2020 have actually transformed our planet into a potentially positive way with respect to travel and tourism. Among the most significant areas to be affected, as there are certain places, actually a lot of places that have got time to rejuvenate themselves in terms of tourism, in terms of them as a destination. So that is one good thing that has happened in the past few months or so.
Thanks. The second question is, what are the skills that will bring new opportunities, with innovation and growth in our sector? So I think the work from home concept has really caught on. It adds to the inclusiveness to diverse cultures and the women coming back to work. So that is a big plus point that I see. I remember reading this somewhere, low touch experience is a new luxury. Earlier it was said that high touch, everything should be high touch. You need to have multiple touch points to the customer. But now it's vice versa. Low touch experience is a new luxury. And like Ranji ma'am initially mentioned about the weddings, weddings have become a small, private and intimate gathering, especially for the destination weddings. I don't know how many of you are aware, but last year alone, we had about 800 weddings in Thailand. 800 Indian weddings which happen in Thailand. It's called a destination wedding. Of course, within India, Rajasthan, Kerala, and Goa are the top 3 destinations for destinations wedding. And overseas, the first, of course, is Thailand. Then, of course, Malaysia. Then, if you're slightly more budget, then you go to Europe and so on and so forth.
Yeah, Viruksha wedding.
Yes.
Virat Kohli and Anushka.
Correct. So that will become a very small and intimate gathering. So what are the skills that we will bring new opportunities, lead innovation and growth in our sector? Any thoughts on this?
You were talking about, Jose, that online platforms becoming more and more active, and they will be the takers in this situation. Definitely, the tour operators working within the 4 walls of their office may find it difficult here onwards. So the online platforms will definitely they will be getting more clients or more customers, more guests in the future. That is one aspect. And talking from the point of view of a homestay owner, basically homestays means it is run by the lady of the home, so it is a kind of giving employment to more women, and thereby it is a kind of responsible tourism. So experiential tourism will definitely improve hereafter. Note Kerala, we have been practicing this responsible tourism programs, but other states of India will also bring up this initiatives like responsible tourism initiatives, and rural employment opportunities for youth will be definitely there hereafter. So skill-based programs will be improving. So there will be online platforms which gives training programs for youth, or those people who are interested to coming into this industry will be benefited out of this. So experiential tourism, responsible tourism, village tourism, for example. So more employment for students like Rashi, this will be a boon. So think in that terms, Rashi, instead of going to big corporates and sitting in an AC room and working, think in this out of the box terms and do things like that. So skill is very, very important hereafter. It's not only the textual knowledge or information which we gather, but the skills, even if you know to cook properly, good local cuisines, indigenous cuisines. Being a chef, you can speak more about it. I also love cooking, and I've been researching into Indian cooking, evolution of Indian food and all. So I think definitely for ordinary people, women folk of our country, the youngsters, students like Rashi, can definitely bring in a more out-of-the-box ideas, skill-based programs, which will be the in thing here onwards.
Okay, thank you. What I'll do is, because due to lack of time, I will take one question to one person. The next question is for you, Sharath. I'll also give in my inputs. What will be the new career opportunities and focus areas in the new normal? I was thinking about reading quite a bit about how tourism, national tourism bodies, NTOs as we call them, are moving towards AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality. And yesterday when we were discussing, somebody was mentioning about learning new languages. Yeah. English, Mandarin, Hindi, Spanish, and French are the 5 most spoken languages in the world. I think a lot of people have already gone towards learning Mandarin and Spanish and French. But if somebody who's listening and planning to pick up a new language, I think they should look at either Arabic, Russian, Portuguese, or Malay. These are the next 4 languages which are widely spoken in the world. In fact, I remember a couple of years back, I had an inbound group which had come from Brazil to watch the Formula 1. That was about 5-6 years ago, the last Formula 1 which we had in India. And I couldn't get one Portuguese speaking tourist guide in Delhi. Yeah, I almost went like a headless chicken all over in Delhi to get one Portuguese speaking guide, but I couldn't get. So new languages to learn could be Arabic, Russian, Portuguese, and Malay. Your thoughts on this, Sharath? What will be the new career opportunities or focus area in the new normal of tourism?
Thank you for this question. Uh, so basically, I think as we evolve in this industry, the first thing is because of everything that's happened, like how most of you mentioned before, we've changed as people. So I think even career-wise, what we choose and how the industry is going to behave from here is going to be very conscious, is what I believe. Like people are more aware of things that happen. So when it comes to somebody trying to choose the right career in this, it's like Neha ma'am mentioned before about how academics is connected with the industry right now. The industry is taking a lot of changes. Like, so I've met a bunch of hotel management students who worked on a bunch of ERP softwares before they took up the management job of a particular hotel. Now, this ERP software that they learn at college and what they use at the hotel are at two different leagues. Mainly because the UI and UX of this is way more simpler than what they teach in school. So the usability factors are also completely different. So when it comes to actually taking up a career in this, I think firstly the career opportunity itself, like the way this is designed, the programs are designed, should be evolved with connecting to what is happening in the industry right now. And what is happening in the industry, like we've mentioned before, is the fact that it's moving towards more responsible and sustainable tourism. And taking factors from here and taking into facts of how technology plays a role. I think even students should also be given an opportunity to be learn, like they should, because see, like, so basically a lot of big industries including Schneider Electric, a lot of big companies, they have automation softwares for their hotel, like for hotel solutions. Now from a 7-star hotel to a 5-star hotel to a OYO budget hotel, all of them have so many technological aspects going into that. And I believe that when people are actually studying to pursue a career in this, they should also be focused on getting to learn these new technology, because it should not be like they take a job and then they're trying to learn this because they were not taught this back there. So as the industry is evolving, I think even academics evolves, and if both of them are connected, and the student makes the best benefit. So that is what I think is how the careers will be going on from here in the industry.
So we have
Sorry
just
to interrupt, sir.
yeah.
So my question continues to Sharat, sir. Like you are an entrepreneur yourself. So I just wanted your views on how entrepreneurs and startups will survive and thrive in this post-pandemic situation.
Okay. So firstly, I think in the tourism industry, there are a lot of startups that have got into mostly the micro tour sector. So a lot of companies in Bangalore, like at least in Bangalore, I know personally that there are about 97 to about 115. Like these are the companies that we'd had like a meeting with, and these are a bunch of companies that are all doing the same thing. They take people on trips. Okay, so they take people on trekking, or it could be camping, or it could be overnight trips, or whatever it is. They tie up with a bunch of people and they do it. Now, since none of these people are actually functioning and there's nothing happening, none of these startups are actually making any money. Most of them are either not, see, most of these startups were either full-time into the travel industry, or they were balancing. Like when I ran my company, it was not just this. I was trying to do some other things, so I would balance it out. But who knew that something like this would happen? So it's actually very difficult to actually see if these people can recover ASAP. I don't know if it's possible. Personally, to me, my friends who are involved in the tourism industry, they're really suffering right now. They've moved into agro-based industries. Like they believe that they can balance tourism only with sustainability. So like some of the homestays I know, they are actually making packaged food products, because that's the best time for them to make this move right now. Because people come there, they relish their food so much. Probably the banana buns made in that house is so good that they want to like go back to Bangalore and actually eat it. They can't make it. So now they started selling these, agro-based products. So I'm thinking that startups will obviously, like, if they are creative entrepreneurs, they will find solutions to all the kind of problems that they are. And like all of us are trying to be very positive of how the future will be. I think that's how even they're going to be. And, we will have a better future in this tourism industry. That are my views. Those are my views on this.
Thank you.
Shubhankar, we just got 2 more questions to answer. So if you want to start getting your questions, you can start bringing those questions up. Meanwhile, when we get these 2 questions answered, can you also try and publish the poll? I'd like to see the end of the result, how the result is coming for the poll. So the next question to you is to you, Neha. If education should be the harbinger of change, how should it be redefined now? So that's the question. And I was just doing some research just to update everybody on the panel that last year there were 750,000 Indian students who went abroad to study in the overseas universities. So 750,000 students went in 2019. Specifically from a tourism studies point of view, US, Australia, Canada, and UK. These are the four countries which tops the list. But I think in 2020, because most classes are online, most universities have stopped taking people, or the visa processing itself is taking an issue. So I think 2020, the intake to these universities or students going abroad will come down dramatically. But your thoughts, Neha?
All right. Thank you for the question. How I see it happening is there are a lot of new changes, especially with the education policy, which I'm really excited about. I should touch upon that a little bit. They are planning on introducing a 4-year UGC program, a UG program, an undergrad program, which is very much in line with the foreign universities. Many of my students who face the difficulty from transitioning from an Indian education to a master's degree abroad was the credits. They could not make up with the credits because they were missing one entire year of education and gaining credits. So now if you're moving to a 4-year UG and a 1-year PG program, the students will have more opportunities when they go abroad. We are scaling up to an international scale. So this is a good news. Another thing that I notice a lot of universities abroad, what they are doing is they're conducting a lot of virtual tours. So what they do is they have an open house. So you can go down to the university on a virtual platform and find out and talk to professors that you want to work in close association with. Another thing that they're doing is, even though you can't travel to these foreign countries, for example, what you can do is they are opening out courses that are coming from, for example, Australia. The universities in Australia are opening out their online courses from September. So you can start registering and you can attend your classes in a foreign university sitting in India. So there are a lot of scope that is being brought about. Starting from the ministry level, there are a lot of changes. Even independent universities and autonomous institutions are coming up with brilliant new ideas of connecting with students. So there is a great curation of an experiential learning that is going to be catered to students. So there is a lot of scope in terms of academics.
Okay, thank you. So before we answer the last question, there's one question which has come up from the audience. What are the skills and attitude for youth to find jobs and careers in travel and tourism? So repeat the question. What are the skills and attitude for youth to find jobs and careers in travel and tourism? I'll answer this question because quarter century ago, when I was a student like you, who were asked this question, I remember when I went to my hotel management college, the first day of the college, my principal said, the guest is always right, even when he is wrong. So I will never forget this punchline, what the principal said. The guest is always right, even when he is wrong. So after 25 years being in the trade, I like to correct my principal now. The guest is not always right. The guest is right only when he is right. If he's wrong, he's wrong. Yeah, I think we need to understand this. What are the attitude that is required? Very important attitude is that you need, first of all, to have the inborn quality to assist, to serve, to help people. In hospitality, that is the bottom line. If you do not know the meaning of the word humble, please don't come into this industry. Yeah. And skills, of course, there are multiple skills that we have discussed during the last 45 minutes in terms of technology, in terms of marketing, in terms of learning new language and so on and so forth. But basically, I think more than skills for this industry, I think attitude is very, very important. Another question which has come up is, are there enough courses offered in travel and tourism? And are these courses designed to help students to get a job ready? What are the gaps? This question, I think Neha can answer. Are there enough courses in travel and tourism?
Very good question. To answer you, I should say honestly, no, there isn't. For example, the MHRD of, that is the Ministry of Human Resources India, has come up with an online course called Swayam, where you can pick up online courses on your own accord. When I looked for my own purposes, just to be curious, what are the courses available? There are very minimal courses available in tourism. Very small based courses in terms of geography and in terms of airline. There is a lot more scope. So there is an avenue to actually teach students on various skill-based courses that can be offered. There is a lot of avenue available. So I think a lot of the academics, the staff, the teachers need to start working on developing this e-content. It's not available, to be frank, especially in the Indian scenario. In various other arenas, like for example, if you go to Coursera, there are a few opportunities for tourism in terms of marketing, in terms of digital marketing. Yes, there are courses available, but skill-based courses are quite rare to come across. So that is a gap in the market that we as academicians need to fill.
Okay. The next question is to Ranjini. Have we tapped into the tourism potential of our country, incredible India? Have we done enough as a country for international visitors?
Uh, to be precise and to be honest, no. That's what I wanted to tell everyone. But it's a sad thing. But some states, of course, my state of Kerala, we are doing a lot in this terms. But in this context, I want to tell to the whole world, whoever listening to this program, or to the young generation who are listening to this program, that now onwards, what we can do is promote our lifestyle, Indian traditions, Indian customs, and how we have tackled this pandemic, how we have how we are looking at things positively. All these things account, which means I'll put in detail, little more detail, like that. We, the people of, especially in my state, Kerala, some of you are from Kerala, we know. So we have been practicing, like when we come out from somewhere, when we enter our house, we put our slippers or shoes outside and we wash our feet and then we enter. Then in Indian custom, we don't give shake hands. Instead, what we do is we say namaste. So this is a kind of physical distancing. I don't say it is social distancing. It's a kind of physical distancing. Of late, now we realize that these are all good. And the food which we eat, I can talk about my state, Kerala, that according to the 4 seasons of the year, during monsoon we eat certain food. During summer we eat certain other food. And during winter, we don't have that severe winter, but still we eat certain other food. So this is actually helping your immune system, or it is helping your health as a whole. So these are certain things. You are not, see, the wheat eaters of North India, they have severe winter. So wheat, as a chef, Jose, wheat gives more energy and more heat to your body. And down south of India, we are more rice eaters. So, but nowadays what we see, most of us in South India, we also eat chapatis and rotis and stuff like that. So certain things which were traditionally we were following is good. That is what we understand or realize in this situation or in this times. So we have to promote our lifestyle and traditions, which will be definitely a kind of that will promote the Indian culture, Indian tourism indirectly, and finally, maybe within a span of a decade or 5 years or 10 years, India will be the most sought after destination in the world if this situation, definitely this post pandemic time means another couple of years, these things will be little bit there, here and there. So those coming from Europe or America or any other country, they will prefer India as a destination if we promote our lifestyle, tradition. And of course, now we know that Ayurveda is the most sought after thing in Europe, everywhere. Yoga, now of late it has become a big thing everywhere across globe. So why don't we promote these Indian things? That will be the in thing hereafter. That's what I want to tell. and responsible tourism. I always tell the sustainability in tourism, responsible tourism. These are the things which we should promote that will help India grow in these terms. That will be, in that situation, India will be incredible.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I think we just have time for just one last question, which is predefined question. Which is better choice for the present and future, taking up a job or being self-employed? Which is a better choice for the present and future, taking up a job or being self-employed? I think I'll answer this question because I can see Gayatri's already come back, which means our time is out. So my personal opinion, of course, opinions can differ people to people. Uh, Initially, take up a job, learn the tricks of the trade, and then become self-employed. In particular, you will find a niche for yourself as you work for a few years. You will find a niche for yourself at where you would want to be. And in the initial phase of a career, when you learn when you go and work for an organization, what you learn there, systems, processes, SOPs, are invaluable. And these you can implement in your entrepreneurship when you take the plunge. Uh, in fact, for me personally, the last 2 decades I've been working for somebody, and now recently I've started something on my own. But what I learned initially during one of these 2 decades that I worked, I worked in about 5 or 6 companies. And in one company in particular, I had an extremely terrible boss. Terrible is an understatement. But what I did learn from that boss, and which I carry even today to me in my work career, is how not to be a bad boss, which I don't think any management school will teach you. Yeah, there are two ways to look at it. Of course, you can always keep sulking and saying, boss, he was a terrible guy, and keep abusing him throughout his life. But I chose the other way. I learned from him how not to be a bad boss. Yeah. Anyway, I think Gayatri, we are absolutely on track at 4:15. Just
Thank
before
you. Thank
I
you.
give it back to you, I want to quickly run through once. Now, starting from Rashi, would you like to add something as we close this session?
Sure.
Sir, since sustainability as a topic it popped up, it was like a snide question that I had. Like sustainability is the key issue and condition for survival in travel and hospitality industry. However, some tourists fear that the cost of implementation of sustainability measures will impact negatively, either by increasing in prices or reduction in quality. So I was just wondering if you all could add your points on, is there a possibility to implement sustainability measures at the same time keeping the prices unchanged or even reduce prices while making or improving the quality of the experience of the tourists?
Sharath, you want to?
Yeah, basically, like in marketing, there is this particular model that we follow, which is funnel trickle. It says awareness, consideration, and decision. The three ways you get a subscriber. Now, even when it comes to sustainability or zero waste management or any of these futuristic things that are required for the planet right now, or even for businesses to survive, there might be expenses. Now, how like you mentioned, whether it would change the pricing in the system, I'm pretty sure it will, because there is a cost of implementation of many things. Now, for example, if I want to if I don't want to be on the grid and I want to convert my entire property into a solar property, and I want my expense on the solar for the next 3 years will be amortized to the loan that I take, and that's how I'm clearing out the solar expense. But my operation expense has come down in the future. But it's just that this initial capital may be a lot, but if I can actually work around as a hotel or a business with my customers to give them fair value price to what I am doing, to make my personal property sustainable for the future, don't think it should have that many negative impacts. But it is definitely capital intensive, and but it is required for the future, so such that if there's any time any other pandemic or anything like this that ever happens,
Definitely.
that these hotels can stay without 0 rupee income. That is the main thing, because mainly you're burning your money in operation expenses. Your monthly expense is what is draining most of these big brands, which is why standalone hotels can recover faster. because most of the people working there are either employees of their estates, or there are one or two very few limited employees who are working for your homestay. Otherwise, the family is cooking for you, the family is running the space for you. So I think sustainable tourism it'll take its time, but I'm pretty sure it will be here, and it is here to stay. Because I think as hotel owners, it's very, very important for us to evolve and get there. Even if it's capitally intensive, we have to do it so that like in the future, people have a better place and better experience to, take back from there. That's
So
my view on this.